Hola, everyone. We are the Bestas in Mexico. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Terry. And as you can see, we got another beautiful day. Over my left shoulder, as you can see, we do have a new guest in our port. It is the U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Eagle. It's a Coast Guard ship that's used for training and sightseeing and stuff. It actually was built in 1936. It's an outstanding ship. We enjoyed taking our view on it yesterday,
Yes, and I
our
did.
tour.
Yes, we did, and I did take some videos. So we will be having a video on that on the ship. It was really nice. It was beautiful. Talk about medical in Mexico
Yes,
and all Terry's injuries and surgeries and things like that.
yes. After talking to a orthopedic surgeon, he's he takes his time, explains the procedure. My MRI, he went into depth what we were looking at, showed me where the tears were, showed me where minor arthritis is starting to build up. So I was totally confident in his ability to fix my knee.
Yes, yes, very, very good. That's the doctors out here because I know a lot of people are concerned about getting medical treatments done on Mexico
Mm-hmm.
or, just everything in general. And it was really, really good. The doctors were amazing and the cost actually was very reasonable. It was expensive, obviously, that we didn't want to occur, but it was what it was, and
Yeah.
we had to do it. I will be going over the fees for all his surgery. So everyone knows that Terry had to have two surgeries here. He had to have knee surgery,
Yeah.
which was what was the knee surgery?
Uh, two complete tears of my MCL ligament on my right knee, and the same doctor that did my knee surgery, I talked to him about fixing an injury that I've had on multiple fingers back home in the States, which is some people call a trigger finger. It's where your finger locks. When you close it, it locks up, and you have to almost pry it open to get it to work. Anybody that uses their hands a lot might have this injury, but he did tell me once you hit that magical number of 60 years old, it's a thing that could happen with somebody. So he was able to actually take care of my finger too, which was a little over a week ago in office. So he was able to deaden my hand, numb it with a free spray, and then give me a local. And he was able to do the surgery right there. So he fixed it. The hand's working fine. About 10 days after having it done. So
Yes, it was an in-office procedure.
yeah.
It came to 12,000 pesos, and it was $600. That'd be 600 US.
Yes.
He had the same hand surgery
Oh yeah.
back in the States, probably, I don't know, a few years ago, was it?
Little over 2 years
Little
ago.
over little over 2 years ago.
Yep.
And I'm looking at my notes here. Give me a minute to find out how much that was. Okay, I got it. So the hand surgery that he had in the States, just for the surgery itself, and it wasn't in office, it was in a hospital outpatient. It was $5,580.48 for the surgery, $1,700 for the anesthesia. So that came out to $7,200 US
$7,200.
versus $600 here
Yes.
in Mexico.
And they were able to do it in his office. I mean, he did everything right. He cleaned it. He sterilized the equipment that he used. It was all sterile.
How was the difference in the two? Healing time.
In the healing, I was able to bend my finger later that night a little bit, but once the numbness completely wore off, I can make a complete fist. It's like nothing ever happened. I don't even see a scar on my hand. So where on my other ones, I had I have 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch scar, where this one I got maybe an 1/8 inch. So what he does down here is amazing. I can't rave enough about the facilities. My doctor, my orthopedic doctor, after he did my knee, he actually gave me his cell phone number and told me if I have any issues, need any extra pain medicine that's not strong enough, to give him a call. I ended up taking one pain pill when I had my knee surgery. Haven't taken another one since for either one. So the guy is outstanding.
What kind of doctor gives you their cell phone number?
Yeah,
He just said to
exactly.
WhatsApp him, and if anything happens,
Yeah, yeah,
that's incredible. So now we're going to talk about his knee surgery
yeah.
and what the expenses was for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a funny one, but
Yeah.
we'll get to that in a minute. He had to see a cardiologist, so he had different expenses because he had to see a cardiologist to get released to do the surgery. He had to have a knee X-ray of his knee.
Yeah.
His X-ray of his knee here. Of course, this was obviously the exchange rate was a little bit better because it was done back in March
Yeah.
when the exchange rate was really good, so it was a better. His knee, his X-ray on his knee was only $30 versus $180 in the United States when he had to get done on the other knee. He had to get an MRI done. This is a big one. The MRI here in Mexico was $147. The MRI he had in the United States for his other knee was $2,900. That's a big difference.
Yeah. And that's $2,900 for an MRI in the States. And down here, it was, what was it?
$147.
$147.
And of course, this is without insurance because we don't have insurance right now. So this is out of our pocket. And that's still very reasonable. Now the surgery itself, which also included the anesthesia.
Mm.
He had a little different type of anesthesia because they were going to give him a local and they couldn't. So they had to intubate him.
Yes. Yeah.
We all know intubating is a little bit more expensive. Not quite sure how much it is in the U.S. because we never had that, but that was also included in with the surgery. So his total surgery was 110,000 pesos, $5,200.
And that's at the current exchange rate
That
back
was
then when I had the surgery.
right, which was better.
So-
So with all his expenses with the knee surgery, it cost us $5,300 for
Yeah.
his knee surgery, U.S. dollars. Yeah, that might be a lot of money for some people. Thinking, oh wow,
that's a lot of money for us too.
well,
but
it was,
It's
it
not-
was, yes,
It's not like back home,
right.
where you got to deal with your insurance companies. You got to see what they pay, and then you get your portion at what you have to pay.
Now, knowing that it cost us $5,300, Terry's knee surgery back in the U.S. that he had for his other knee was $18,621 before insurance, of course.
Yes.
But that's the whole total, $18,621 plus the anesthesia was $2,300.
Mind you, the knee surgery I had on my left knee, it was same style orthoscopically on both. My left knee was for a meniscus tear. So it's a little minor surgery than what my MCL surgery I had here in Mexico. This one was a little bit more intense. You can kind of see the numbers. It's kind of staggering how much more you pay in the States for something that's similar down here.
Mm-hmm. How would you say that the recovery from the U.S. surgery versus the Mexico surgery was? What's different, and what do you think?
I know everything's different in the States, but up there, after I had my meniscus surgery, they want you to do therapy and
Mm-hmm.
and go to your physical therapist and get that done.
Which is $233 a session.
Yes. Down here, my physical therapy was certain exercises he told me to do that I could do at home. Do it here in my pool. That helps. But as far as healing time, It took longer for my meniscus surgery to heal from that than it did from my MCL surgery. Mind you, I'm still healing from the MCL surgery, but I'm walking around a lot better, bending a lot better than what I did when I had the minor surgery. And as far as the hand, it's like I never even had a surgery. My finger don't hurt. Could be the warm weather
Yeah, it
making
could be.
everything heal a lot quicker.
It could be. Yes. Yes. It could be.
My experiences down here with the medical and Mexico, I cannot rave enough. Yeah, I was a little leery about having
Mm-hmm.
a surgery down here,
Right.
but
But you don't know. We didn't know any doctors. We didn't.
yeah,
You know, we don't never had anything major done like that.
yeah. When they go into detail and tell you what they're doing and all of that, it just gives you that comfort feeling. I know when my doctor was wheeling me into the room, it was kind of funny because he's sitting there helping push the bed to put me into the operating room, and he asked me, "Do I like music?" And I go, "I love music." He goes, "Good, because I can't do a surgery unless I have music." So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, I can't. It wasn't much time after they gave me the shot that I listened to music, but he said he loves his music when he does his surgery. So, and I think I can't remember what I said. I think I told him, as long as it's done right, I don't care. So, apparently, he did it right.
Yep. Yes, that is true. The hospital that we did go to after we did a lot of research, and it was highly recommended by a lot of people, was Vallarta Medical Center.
Yes.
That's over there on Las Tulas. That is a good hospital. That's where his doctors are at. His doctor, his cardiologist, and his orthopedic doctor. That is a very, very good hospital and very reasonable.
Their staff is outstanding. Like after I had the minor hand surgery, the next day I got a call from Dr. Hernandez's staff asking me how I feel, how was the surgery, do I have having any issues, and
Again, the rate, the cost, was, I mean, it was very reasonable.
yeah,
I mean, we obviously had to fork out that money, and that kind of hurt a little bit because it wasn't expected. But in the long run, the cost of medical out here is very reasonable, as you can see. Another point as far as reasonable cost is, I went to the doctor. I had a rash that I needed looked at. I went to a doctor that's inside the pharmacies. There's usually doctors inside the pharmacies.
yes.
My office visit for that appointment was 60 pesos. That was $2.90. And then for my prescriptions, 110 pesos, $5. All in all, my doctor visit was $8.
Down here
Incredible.
in Mexico, it's not all the red tape and all of that you have to go through back home. And I'm not downgrading our medical staff back home, because we've had some real good staff. It's more,
Yeah, with insurances and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Not medically necessary.
it can get very frustrating back home.
Yes, it can.
We hope you enjoy this video. And one reason why we did this is to kind of give people that were like in our shoes some, I guess, confidence,
Mm-hmm.
reassuring that you can get some great medical care down here in Puerto Vallarta. It worked great for me.
Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up if you like our videos. We are the Bestas in Mexico.
Where every day feels like Saturday.